Shalom. I'm Rabbi David, and I'm going to tell you something that will change how you face every challenge, every setback, every crisis for the rest of your life. There is a secret to overcoming anything life throws at you, and it's not what you think. It's not positive thinking. It's not manifestation. It's not grinding harder or hustling more. It's not even faith. At least, not the way most people understand faith. The secret is a question. A single question that transforms everything. But before I tell you the question, I need to tell you about the worst year of my life. I was 38 years old. My business, which I'd built over 10 years, collapsed. Not slowly, overnight. My largest client, which represented 60% of my revenue, terminated our contract. No warning, no explanation, just gone. Within 3 months, I had to lay off my entire team, 12 people. People I'd hired, people who trusted me, people with families and mortgages and dreams. My marriage was falling apart. My wife and I were fighting constantly about money, about the future, about everything. We were on the verge of divorce. My health was deteriorating. I wasn't sleeping. I wasn't eating. I was having panic attacks. My doctor told me I was on the edge of a breakdown. And in the middle of all this, my father was diagnosed with cancer. Stage 4, 6 months to live. I remember sitting in my car one night, in the parking lot of the hospital, after visiting my father. And I asked the question that most people ask when life falls apart. Why is this happening to me? What did I do to deserve this? Why is God punishing me? And I got no answer. Because that's the wrong question. That question is a complaint. It's self-pity, it's victimhood, and it leads nowhere. But then I remembered something my grandfather, also a rabbi, told me when I was young. He said, "David, there are 2 ways to ask a question when life is hard. You can ask, 'Why is this happening to me?' Or you can ask, 'Where were you when I laid the earth's foundation? Have you comprehended the vast expanses of the earth? Can you bring forth the constellations in their seasons?' In other words, Job, you don't understand the plan. You can't see the big picture, but I can. Trust me." And Job's response? "I spoke of things I did not understand, things too wonderful for me to know." Job stopped asking why and started trusting the process. That's the secret. That's how you overcome anything life throws at you. You stop asking, "Why is this happening to me?" And you start asking, "What am I supposed to do with this?" Let me break this down into a framework I've used for the last 15 years, a framework that has helped me overcome bankruptcy, divorce, illness, loss, and every other challenge life has thrown at me. I call it the 3 questions framework. Question 1. What is this teaching me? Every challenge is a teacher. Every setback is a lesson. Every crisis is an opportunity to grow. When my business collapsed, I asked, "What is this teaching me?" And the answer came, "You built your business on a single client. You put all your eggs in one basket. You didn't diversify. You got comfortable. You got lazy." That was the lesson. And it was painful, but it was true. So I rebuilt. But this time I built differently. I diversified my client base. I created multiple revenue streams. I built systems that didn't depend on any single relationship. And when I rebuilt, I built something stronger, something more resilient, something that could withstand any storm. In Proverbs 24:16, it says, "For though the righteous fall 7 times, they rise again, but the wicked stumble when calamity strikes." The righteous don't avoid falling. They fall 7 times, but they rise, because they learn, because they grow, because they ask, "What is this teaching me?" Question 2. What is this revealing about me? Change. Question 3. What is this calling me to do? Every challenge is a call to action, not just to survive, but to serve, not just to overcome, but to contribute. When my father was dying, I asked, "What is this calling me to do?" And the answer came, "Spend time with him. Listen to his stories. Learn from his wisdom. Be present." So I did. For 6 months, I visited my father every day. We talked, we laughed, we cried, we prayed. And in those 6 months, I learned more about life, about faith, about what matters than I had in the previous 38 years. My father died, but he didn't leave me empty-handed. He left me with wisdom, with stories, with lessons, with a legacy. And now I teach those lessons. I share those stories. I pass on that legacy. That's what challenges do. They call you to something bigger than yourself. They call you to serve, to contribute, to make a difference. In the Torah, God calls Moses at the burning bush. Moses is 80 years old. He's a shepherd. He's living in the desert. And God says, "I'm sending you to Pharaoh to bring my people out of Egypt." And Moses says, "Who am I that I should go to Pharaoh?" In other words, I'm not qualified. I'm not capable. I can't do this. But God says, "I will be with you." The challenge wasn't just about freeing the Israelites. It was about Moses becoming who he was meant to be, a leader, a prophet, a deliverer. That's what challenges do. They call you to become who you're meant to be. Now, let me address the objection I know you're thinking. "Rabbi, this sounds nice, but you don't understand my situation. My challenge is different. It's worse. It's impossible." You're right. I don't know your specific situation, but I know this. The framework works, regardless of the challenge. Let me tell you about 3 people I've mentored who used this framework to overcome impossible situations. Person number 1. Coaching business. She's financially independent. She's confident. She's thriving. She told me, "The divorce was the best thing that ever happened to me. It forced me to become who I was always meant to be." Person number 2. David. David was 52 years old. He'd worked for the same company for 25 years. Middle management, decent salary, comfortable. Then the company downsized. David was laid off. No warning, no severance, just gone. David was terrified. He had a mortgage. He had kids in college. He had bills, and he was 52. Who's going to hire a 52-year-old? He came to me and asked, "Why is this happening to me? I gave them 25 years. How could they do this?" I said, "Wrong question. Ask, what is this teaching me? What is this revealing about me? What is this calling me to do?" He did. And here's what he discovered. What is this teaching me? I was comfortable. I stopped growing. I stopped learning. I was coasting. What is this revealing about me? I'm an entrepreneur at heart. I've always had ideas. I've always wanted to start something. but I was too scared. What is this calling me to do? Start the business I've always dreamed about. Take the risk. Build something. Today, 3 years later, David runs a consulting firm. He makes more money than he ever did as an employee. He works on his own terms. He loves what he does. He told me, getting laid off was the push I needed. I would have stayed comfortable forever. This forced me to take the leap. Person number 3, Rachel. Rachel was 28 years old. She was diagnosed with breast cancer, stage 3, aggressive. Rachel was terrified. She was young. She wasn't married. She didn't have kids. She had her whole life ahead of her. And now she might die. She came to me and asked, "Why is this happening to me? I eat healthy. I exercise. I don't smoke. Why me?" I said, "Wrong question. Ask, what is this teaching me? What is this revealing about me? What is this calling?" Feel the anger. Cry, scream, punch a pillow. Whatever you need to do, feel it fully. In the Torah, when Aaron's sons died, it says Aaron was silent. He didn't pretend it was okay. He didn't spiritualize it. He felt the pain. Feeling your feelings is not weakness, it's honesty. Step 2. Ask the 3 questions. Once you've felt your feelings, once you've processed the initial shock, ask, what is this teaching me? What is this revealing about me? What is this calling me to do? Write down your answers. Journal, pray, meditate, talk to a mentor, but get clarity. Step 3. Take action. Knowledge without action is useless. Once you have clarity, act, do something, even if it's small, even if it's imperfect. Move forward. In the Talmud it says, "It is not your responsibility to finish the work, but neither are you free to desist from it." You don't have to solve everything today, but you do have to take one step, one action, one move forward. Step 4. Trust the process. You won't see the full picture immediately. You won't understand why until later, maybe much later, maybe never. But trust that there's a plan. Trust that there's a purpose. Trust that this challenge is shaping you into who you're meant to become. In Genesis 50:20, Joseph says to his brothers who sold him into slavery, "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives." Joseph didn't understand the plan when he was in the pit, or in prison, or in slavery. But looking back, he saw it. He saw how every challenge was preparing him for his purpose. Trust the process, even when you can't see it. Let me close with this. Life will throw things at you, guaranteed. Challenges, setbacks, crises, losses. You can't control what happens to you. You know that the testing of your faith produces perseverance. Let perseverance finish its work so that you may be mature and complete, not lacking anything. Your challenges are not punishments. They're invitations. Invitations to grow, to become, to transform. Accept the invitation, ask the right question, and watch what happens. Shalom, and until next time. But before you go, I need to tell you something that nobody talks about, something that's uncomfortable but absolutely critical. Sometimes the challenge you're facing is not random. It's not bad luck. It's not the universe being cruel. Sometimes the challenge is a direct consequence of your choices, your actions, your patterns. And if you don't own that, if you don't take responsibility, you'll never overcome it. You'll just repeat it. Let me tell you about Michael. Michael came to me 5 years ago. He was 42 years old. He'd been through 3 bankruptcies. 3! He told me, "Rabbi, I don't understand. I work hard, I try my best, but every business I start fails. Why does God keep doing this to me?" I asked him, "Tell me about your businesses. How did they fail?" He explained. And as he talked, a pattern emerged. Every business failed for the same reason. He overspent. He lived lavishly. He bought expensive cars, expensive clothes, expensive everything. And he did it with borrowed money. I said, "Michael, God isn't doing this to you. You're doing this to yourself. You have a spending problem, and until you address it, you'll keep failing." He was offended. He said, "I thought you were supposed to help me, not judge me." I said, "I am helping you. I'm telling you the truth. The challenge isn't teaching you that life is hard. It's teaching you that you need to change." He left angry, but 6 months later he came back. He said, It's just suffering, just pain, just loss." And in those moments, the 3 questions still apply, but the answers are different. What is this teaching me? That life is fragile, that nothing is guaranteed, that I need to cherish what I have while I have it. What is this revealing about me? That I'm stronger than I thought, that I can endure more than I believed, that I have depths I didn't know existed. What is this calling me to do? To be present, to love deeply, to live fully, to not take anything for granted. I think about my father's death. There was no lesson in the sense of, I did something wrong and this is teaching me to do it right. My father was 72. He lived a full life. He died of cancer. But his death still taught me. It taught me that time is precious, that relationships matter more than achievements, that legacy is what you leave in people's hearts, not in bank accounts. His death revealed something about me. It revealed that I'm capable of being present in pain, that I can sit with suffering without running away, that I can love someone even as I'm losing them. And his death called me to something. It called me to honor his memory, to pass on his wisdom, to live in a way that would make him proud. So even when the challenge doesn't have a clear lesson, it still has meaning, it still has purpose, it still shapes you. In the book of Ecclesiastes, King Solomon writes, "There is a time for everything, and a season for every activity under the heavens. A time to be born and a time to die. A time to plant and a time to uproot. A time to weep and a time to laugh. A time to mourn and a time to dance." Sometimes the challenge is just the season of weeping, the season of mourning, the season of loss. And the question isn't, why is this happening? The question is, how do I walk worked? The dirt became weapons. The emperor won a great battle. He rewarded Nahum with even more jewels than he had brought. When Nahum returned to the inn, the innkeeper asked, "What did you bring to the emperor that he rewarded you so greatly?" Nahum said, "I brought what I took from here." The innkeeper thought he meant the dirt, so he brought dirt to the emperor, hoping for a reward. But it was just dirt, and the emperor executed him. The lesson? Gam zu l'tovah. This too is for good, but only if you approach it with the right mindset, only if you ask the right questions, only if you trust the process. Nahum didn't know the dirt would turn into weapons. He didn't know he'd be rewarded. He just trusted that somehow, some way, this too was for good. That's faith, not blind optimism, not toxic positivity, but trust. Trust that even when you can't see the plan, there is a plan. Even when you can't see the purpose, there is a purpose. So when life throws something at you, when the challenge comes, when the crisis hits, remember Nahum. Remember Gam zu l'tovah. This too is for good. This too is teaching you. This too is shaping you. This too is calling you to become who you're meant to be. Ask the 3 questions. Take the 4 steps. Trust the process. And watch what happens. You will overcome, not because you're strong, but because you're willing to learn, willing to grow, willing to become. That's the secret. That's how you overcome anything life throws at you. Shalom, and until next time.